What's up, everybody? It's Matt Clark at the new Matt Clark. How are you today? I'm doing fucking amazing. Had a good day at work today. Nice conversation with my girl after work. Nice shower. Everything's good. Hit a couple poppers and I'm good to go. Love that marijuana. Today I want to speak to addicts or anybody who could be considering using. I think this is a really important message. So, let's get right into it. But first, I just want to say thank you to the 535 people that have subscribed up to this point. It means the world to me. We're going to continue to grow. The movement will grow, and when we finally have a big enough voice, we'll try to get it heard. And that's the mission. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what we can do about that. I want to speak about, if you're an addict, do you think anybody in that trap house is your friend? This is a really important message because me personally, I was a heroin addict for 10 years and I used to sit in trap houses with people thinking that these were my dogs, that they were riding, that they were loyal. And time after time after time after time after time, I was let down. And I realized that how can you be loyal or love anybody else when your one true love is heroin? You can't love anything else because you have to be 100% committed to that love. It's a marriage, man. You know what I mean? It's a codependent relationship. You cannot live without it. So every day you get up and you work to bring home the money to her. To bring the money to her. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And eventually the legal streams run out and you move to a legal means. And that's just how it goes for everybody. I don't care who you are. Eventually that will happen. The only way you can use and that doesn't happen is if you have an endless supply of cash. And you know, not very many people who are drug addicts have that kind of mind where they can make that kind of money, at least when they're using. You know what I'm saying? So when you're using, you make bad decisions. It would be hard to maintain wealth if you were in active use. You know what I'm saying? And whether or not you're spending the money on dope or not, you know, just your business moves won't be on. Your just mind is going to be off, right? Because it's got one thing in its mind, and that is heroin. So, I want to speak to that. Does anybody in the trap house really like you? Does your girl in the trap house really love you? No. No, they do not. And it's because they can't. So, anytime that you're in a trap house and you're using, your life is in danger. Every time you put heroin either in your nose, in your vein, even coke, any of that stuff, you drop, there's a good chance that you're not going to be saved because nobody's going to help you. People are going to run. Very few people have a conscience when they're in that state of mind. They freak the F out and they get out of there. They don't want nothing to do with it. And you can't really blame them. The government hasn't given anybody a reason to believe that if they do the right thing, stay, call 911, that everything is good. And I don't know what the laws are regarding that, but I know what I hear. And it's that people are worried that they're going to get arrested, that CAS is going to get involved with their kids. And you know, obviously, there's two sides of the coin because, you know, should people have kids if they're in that position? You know, this is an endless conversation, but I just want to highlight this point with a story. So, I was in this trap house. I was living in Richmond Hill, and it was like a nice high-end trap. You know, everybody in there was making money. People were either hustling or doing crime or whatever. And there was an endless supply of dope. It wasn't your typical trap. You know what I mean? But once you got into the back of it, then you saw the trap. Then you saw what was really going on. And I'm telling you, one day I had gone out on a mission to make money. And when I came back with money to buy dope, I was locked out of the house. And finally, you know, I knock, no answer. So I slid in a window. You know, I know the house. It's my house. I live there. Although it's not my house. You know what I'm saying? I go to the bedroom door and I start knocking because I know they're home. They're up all night doing dope. Where are they going? They make money selling dope. They're not going nowhere. They're hidden in the back room, dark shades drawn. So I'm knocking on the door. I'm not getting an answer, but I can hear people moving around or somebody moving around in there. So I keep knocking, and finally he opens the door a peep, and he's like, "Yo, what up?" I'm like, "Yo, and I want to buy something, you know, hook it up. Yo, you gotta hold on. And I'm like, because that's trying to open the door. This is my dog since we're kids, so he's moving real weird, right? So I try to push the door open, and it's blocked. So I force my way in, and this guy's woman is on the ground dead, not breathing. And I say to him, I said, bro, you need to call 911 right now. He's like, bro, you can't do that. No 911. CAS is involved. If CAS is involved with this, she's going to lose her kids. Well, if you don't call 911, she's going to lose her life. I don't understand the logic. You know, you can't have one without the other. You know what I'm saying? CAS doesn't matter if she's dead. I don't get it. But that's how drug addicts think. You know what I'm saying? I was lucky because I always maintained my mind. I had so many breaks in between of prison time that I never accumulated the same damage as people who were using and using and using steady for 10, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So my point being is, this man who said that this is his woman, is engaged, like his girl, and he was more concerned about getting in trouble than actually saving her life. And that was the moment that everything kind of dawned on me. I was still hooked into the life, so I couldn't stop. You know, the only thing stopping me was prison at that point. But my point being that that's when I realized that there's no real love in the trap house. There just isn't. And it doesn't matter who you are, eventually you'll be thrown out the back door, into the dumpster, kicked to the curb, snitched on, something. It'll eventually happen. There is no loyalty in the trap house. So you make sure that if you're in that trap, you know who you're in there with. Because if you don't, every single time you put something in your vein or your nose, you're putting your life in danger when it doesn't have to be. And I know addicts say, what do you mean it doesn't have to? Listen, if you use in pairs, you have naloxone kits, you use safe, clean instruments, it's a lot safer. Not trap house where people are just, you know what I mean? You know how a trap is. It's gross, right? So my message today would be, just remember that these people don't love you. These people don't even really like you. You're there, and you're there for a reason. You serve a purpose. So once that purpose is either used up or your resources are all used up, you're out. You know, they don't care about you. So make sure you make the right decision and think about you. And I know sometimes it's scary thinking about changing and moving on with your life, because you've built this whole lifestyle for the past however many years where this is everything from your waking moment, right? Like your whole day is based off talking about, you know, that's what it is. You live like a junkie if you're on heroin. Like heroin is your number one. So when you truly decide that you are done, you'll know. You'll know. Because for me, it was like, whew, my eyes open. And I just decided that I was over it, you know? And I didn't want to keep going to prison. I didn't want to keep hanging with people who I knew would stab me in the back at the drop of a hat. Like, I'm hanging out with people that are accusing me of sleeping with their girl, and I don't even want to sleep with the girl. These are trap girls. I don't want to sleep with these girls. So, you know what I'm saying? These are just shady people who don't give a shit about you. So, beware. Beware of the snakes in the grass. Don't go to the traps. I'm telling you, it's dangerous. Care about yourself. Be aware of your surroundings. I really appreciate everybody who's been watching my stories. I love each and every one of you. Like and subscribe at the new Matt Clark.